Hi guys, my name is Khurram and today I'm going to have video for validation with reactive form. So first of all, I will write the reactive form, then I will implement built-in and then customize validation. So let's start. I have created a new component and it's totally empty. There is nothing. Here we can see it is actually totally empty. So first of all, let's start with the reactive form. And I have a code. I'm just going to copy here and let's see the result. Okay, here we can see it have only 3 control elements because I really like to keep the form very simple. So first of all, let's make it reactive form. For this, I'm just going to add module because we have to add reactive form module to have a reactive forms. So just copy and I'm just going to forms. Yes, and this is reactive form module, right? And I'm just going to copy here. That's it. Now close and back to here. The difference between the reactive and template driven form with respect to validation is that for template driven form we write the validation in template file. However, for the reactive forms we write in the component file. So this is our component file and here we will write the validation. So first I'm going to write an instance of the form group. So let's say EMP form, employee form, and it is a type of form group. Yes, and okay. And now I'm going to add the form builder because it helps to have a clean code. So constructor and let's say private form builder. It's a form builder, right? That's it. And next I'm going to implement on it interface. So implement on init. Of course there is an error. Just okay. So here this dot emp form is equal to this dot form builder dot group, and here we can use the data model, but I'm just going to write all these control elements. So first is name and its type of no, it's not, no, it's, sorry, initial value, and then age, let's say 0, and now address. I have the same name as in the control element. See, name, age, and address. Okay, and what next? Next thing is why it's like that. Just have space. Okay, so next thing is I'm going to also define a templates level instance. So form group, and let's have the same name as here, emp form, and actually I don't need them. So form control name, and this one it's, and first is name. Oh, okay, paste and paste, and this is age and this is address, right? Okay, so now I have bind them. They are actually bound with the instance of the here component file, and this is the reactive form. Let's see if I run the application. Sorry, what's running? We can see the value 0 here. This is the default value which we set here. So for example, if I set 20, so here we can see 20. So the data is moving from HTML file to component file. So template file to component file, but it should be vice versa. So because when we implement the reactive forms, then we have a two-way data binding. So to test it, I'm just going to write a method. Let's say on submit. This is a method, and let's see, alert, and I'm just going to show the results. JSON yes.stringify this.emp form dot value, so we can see. Okay, let's delete this line. Yeah, let me. Okay, and I'm just going to attach in the template file, and here let's say, and yes, of course, this one and this. Now let's see the application, and let's first give some default values. So I'm just saying quorum, and it's Copenhagen. Okay, from the component file to the template file, we can see it's working. And if I change here Shehzad, my full name, and if I press the button, so we can see Khurram Shehzad. So the thing is, the value also moving from template to the component file. So we have two-way data binding in the reactive form. That's good. Now let's move to the validation. So first of all, I'm going to start with the built-in validation. Okay, for built-in validation, let's say we say name control element, it should not be empty. So for this we have a required. So I'm just going to write the validation. So for this is array, and first is default value, which is empty, and the second thing is I'm just going to add a validation. So validator, this is a class. This is a class which has built-in validation method. So I'm just going to dot, and here we can see we have different, for example, email, email, maximum length, minimum length, and so on. But I'm going to implement required. It means now this field is can't be empty. Okay, and let's see here. So br is form valid, and this is emp form dot valid. Okay, now we see is form valid, and it says false, right? It says false because we have set validation, and this cannot be empty, but this is empty. And if I write anything here, now it's true. So our validation is working very well. Good. And what next? Next thing is, I like to show if the form is invalid, it should have a red border, so user can see that this field is invalid. Okay, for this I'm just coming here, and I'm just going to write some CSS code that it will change the style. So first of all, I'm going to say input, all the input dot ng invalid. If they are invalid, okay, then border, set border 1 pixel solid red, and also set the left border left, and just make it 5. It just looks better. Okay, now we can see, because this is invalid control element, and now it's at the border. But here the problem is, we don't like to show the red border when the form appears first time. So it should be a red border either is touched or the user press the submit button. Okay, so this border should be when the user touched and still the field is invalid. So for this I'm going to add dot ng touched, touched. So if the input is invalid and touched, then show this one. So now we can see there is no red border, but if I touch and moves to the next control element, so it's now touched and still it's invalid, so it's a red border. Perfectly fine. Now let's do one more thing, and which I actually really like. I want that if I press the submit button, any element, control element I'm talking about, if it's invalid, it also should have the red border. And for this we have to write here ng submitted. This is the class which Angular attached to the form when the form is submitted. Okay, so now I'm saying when the form is submitted, input, check the input which is invalid. when the form is submitted, all the inputs which are invalid, just add these properties with them, style with them. Okay, so now if I press this button, okay, let's block this one for a second here. I'm just saying if emp form, yes, dot invalid, of course, then return. But it, okay, so if I press this button, now we can see it's a red border. That's it, it's working. Now let's do the same thing with the address and implement same logic. Sorry, validation, it cannot be empty, right? And one more thing, I'm just going to, that's it. So if I press, we can see the both are red. Okay, but user can see these fields are invalid, but we have to show as well the message that why these are invalid. Okay, so for message we have logic, let's say div. Okay, and this div actually will be visible only when the form, let's say ng if emp form dot invalid, when the form is invalid. Okay, let's have a small and just set the class text dot danger, it's mean the red color only. Ng if, right, I'm saying if the form is invalid and this emp form dot get, right, name field, and if it has errors, 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 and error is of type required, then show this message, name can't be empty, right? What's it? Come on. Errors, error, errors, errors, errors. Okay, it's fine. Hopefully, let's see here. We can see that it's showing the message. Again, the problem, I like to show this message when the either user touch the field or press the submit button. So for touch the field, I'm going to write and this field is touchd, touched. So there is no message, but if the user touch and moved on and it's still invalid, so it will show the message. But what about this one? No. So for this, if the user press the submit button, it should also show the message. We have to check that if the form is submitted or not. For this, I'm just going to define a variable here is submitted and its type of boolean, right? And is first is false, it means the form is not submitted yet. And when the user press this button, the control comes here. So I'm just going to write here is submitted dot true. Okay, so when the form is submitted, this variable will be true. Okay, so I'm just going to check again here. And here, right, is submitted, is am I able to submitted or okay. So say let's see the logic. Form is invalid and either the form is submitted or the field this name is touched, then show this message. Okay, let's see. If I press the button, now it's showing the message, that's good. And if I touch and move on, still showing the message. So our both logic are working, that's good. Now let's do the same thing with the address. So where is the address? Here. Just copy, So instead of the name is address now, and it also says address. Let's see if it's working. If I press, now we can say name is empty and address cannot be empty. Okay, our validation working very good. What next? Next thing is, let's say if we like to implement multiple validations, so we can add, for example, minimum length validators dot minimum length 5. Here I'm saying that okay, no, it's not work, it will not work because it's now more than 1. So we have to define an array. And here, by the way, if there are too many validation, then we can define array somewhere else and then just apply the spread operator. It's just give the clean concept or clean code. Anyhow, we have only 2, so I'm just writing here. And now this field, it should have, let's say this is empty and here say it's empty. If I enter 1, still it's invalid. It's because it's asking for minimum 5 characters, which we have mentioned here. So if 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, now it's no more red border and the whole form is true. Okay, so let's show the message as well. I'm just going to copy and I'm saying if it has minimum length, then they say address should have 5 characters. Yeah, okay. So let's see if here and say address cannot be empty, and if I write just 1 character and say address should have 5 characters. Okay, minimum 5, minimum 5 characters. Anyhow, now our validation is working. Let's see if it's all working. Yeah, so our built-in validation is working. Now let's move to the customized validation. Let's say we are going to implement customized validation for age, that it should not be less than 25, more than 70, or between 35 to 45, right? So for this we have to write a customized validation. Say for customized validation, we have to write an extra method or function, and I'm going to create a new folder where here, new folder, yes, and let's call it validator, and here I will write the extra file which will contain the function validate or customized validator. So let's say call new file, so it's valid age dot validator dot ts, right? And here I'm going to write the function. So export function and name is valid age. Okay, and it will have a control of type abstract control, right? And okay, so first of all, let's say null. It will return either a null, or actually it will return an error or null. So first of all, we say constant age of type number, and it will actually get the value of the control element because we are going to implement with the age. So I'm just saying control dot value, and I know age will return the numeric value. Okay, so if age is less than 25 or age is greater than 70 or age less than, not less than, let's see, more than 35 and age is less than 45, less than 25, more than 70, or between 30 to 45, then there will be error. So return, and let's call this one, the name of the error, let's make it small and true, right? So if the age lies between these, then error, otherwise null. Okay, so this is our validator, customized validator, which I'm going to implement or apply here. So 20 by default value, and here I'm just going to write the name, this one here, and import. That's fine. Now let's see our form, and we can see, let's write the default value, so Copenhagen. Okay, still our form is invalid. Why? Because this is less than 25. So it means our customized validator working very well. So if I press this one, it's showing the border. Okay, but it should also show the proper message. So for message, I'm just going to copy this with the age control element. Let's delete this one. Let's change here and here, and age, oh sorry, error is this one. I'm just going to copy here. Okay, if this is the error, then give the message age should be less than 25. Oh, okay, age should have some special special rules. That's it. Okay, so it will show this message. Okay, now let's see the result. If I press enter, it's showing okay, it should have some special rules. So if I enter 26, now it's valid, it's more than 25, so perfectly fine. So it means if there is, let's say 80, still invalid. So it means our customized validator working with the age control element. That's good. But right now we are implementing custom validation with single control element. But let's say if we have to apply with the two control element, so this type of validation called form level validation. For example, if we say we have two email control element and we like the user should enter the same email, right, for registration. So how to do it? Let's do this one. So first of all, I'm going to add here, paste, it is email one, it's empty, it is required, and it's type of email, right? Okay, and this is second. So we have two email element, and also I'm going to have here just say email, and actually I have here, I'm just going to copy. Yes, it's very simple. It's just showing that if it's empty, error. If it's not email format, then again error. So it's a simple default validation. So let's see the result. Here we can see, okay, let's give some default value for age. Let's say it's 27, so it's always valid. And still our form is invalid because we don't have the email, right? It can't be empty. If I enter 2, it says keep proper email address. So our built-in validation working very well. However, we like that if the user doesn't enter the same, for example here, then it should show the message that they don't match each other, right? So let's implement form level validation. So I'm coming here and I'm going to create a new file here, new file, and let's say valid email dot validator dot ts, right? Valid email, that's fine. Okay, and here I'm just going to export function, and this is the name will be the same as we have, let's say valid email, and it's a special because it's a form level validation, so it has a special function which will return a validator function. So let's say validator function, and let's say here it will return a special function. So let's say return the function which we say, and it will have the control which is type of abstract control, this one. Okay, and it will return either null, return null. Okay, it will return either null or key value pair, where key will be of type string and it will return boolean. Yes, so this method will be returned. Now we have done, let's say const email1 and is equal to control dot let's say get, because we are getting here email1. Now we are getting the control element. It's why, because I have to set error type with the one control element. Anyhow, let's say control. So now we have two control elements, one for the email1, second for the email2. And if email1 dot value does not equal to email2 dot value, right, then okay, no, and okay, so if it's not equal to, then return, actually not return, I have to set the error with this one, because it will show the message here. So email2, which is a control element, dot set errors, and the method, and here actually I'm going to set error, and what, let's say this one, set error with this control element, let's make it small and true. So if the both email are not match each other, then it will set the error with this second control element, because I like to show the message here. Okay, it's done. Now it's time to come here, and I cannot apply this form level validation here, because it's actually being used with a couple of control elements. So instead of this, we have to apply here. Okay, so let's call validators, and here I'm just going to call this one. Yeah, not this one. And of course I have to import. Yes. Okay, now let's see if I check the result. Okay, what I'm doing. Okay, so now our form is valid, but if I just repeat, so it's false. It means our form level validation working very well, but we are not showing the message. So the time to show the message for this, I'm going to template file, and this is the second. So I'm just going to copy this one, and error type is valid email. So I'm just going to, if this is the error, so then give the message that both email doesn't match, right? Yeah, yes, okay, yeah, it's okay. And that's it. Let's see. I have a message, and I'm just going to copy, not this one. I don't like to type. Okay, here and here, that's fine too. If I change and say both email doesn't match, right? So it means, okay, if I write here and if I change here, still saying both email doesn't match, because we have set the error with this control element. So this is form level validation, and it's working, and it's worked with the multiple control elements. Yeah, that's it. I think I have covered all the things which I thought I can. So thanks for watching, and have a very nice time.